Okay. Yeah, my name's Landen Hastrieter. I graduated from Columbus High School back in 2021. I'm studying sports media communications at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and I expect to graduate probably a year early in about 2024, maybe 2025, depending on major classes and stuff like that. So I graduated obviously in May of last year. Summer was a lot of preparing for college, but you never really know exactly what you're going to get when you kind of just step onto campus. I've been, like I said, studying sports media, so it's kind of just been school, college. It's been a little bit of a transition. First semester was a lot of transition, a lot of change. Second semester of last year just kind of got really into the flow of things, and then got done about a month ago, roughly, maybe a little less. I came home a lot this last semester, but it's been nice to come home, kind of be with my family and with my friends and kind of just enjoy the summer as well. Okay, I'll see if I can remember these. I used to have these down for resumes and stuff, but okay, so tennis, basketball, golf, National Honor Society, CHS 101, Circle of Friends, Youth Leadership Columbus. I feel like I'm missing a couple. That's all that come to mind right now. So, a lot of basketball memories. I wasn't, always the best at basketball, but just the people I got to meet. People, I experienced two different coaches, so to see that kind of end of the spectrum. Two varsity head coaches. There was, countless coaches down the line, but that was a lot of big memories. Going to state tennis for the first time was a big one. A couple of golf meets really come to mind. Norfolk. There was a Grand Island meet that really comes to mind. And then just getting to meet new people and kind of seeing where everyone, especially in my class, kind of branched out to and kind of who they've actually become. Because in high school, you're here for 8 hours a day, and everyone kind of goes to the same classes, maybe not at the same time or not the same exact classes, but you get the same basic classes. So to see everyone do their own thing now is just kind of really cool. So that's not, I guess, a high school memory, but just kind of remembering those people and where they are now is kind of one of the best things about it. I think, honestly, I'm not going to be any filtered. I think it did a great job. It was, not every class, prepared me exactly, for what college was going to be, and no high school will. But the clubs and organizations and sports, it matures you really fast. It's not, walk in here and just, not give any effort at all and just kind of get by anything. You have to work for it. And that alone, it prepares you for college more than you'd think. I didn't realize until about, halfway through my first semester, I looked back on it and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is kind of where high school came in. But I think CHS honestly did a great job. I'll be honest, not very good. I love to procrastinate. I always waited till the last minute to do stuff. Some tests, I'll admit, I was just kind of like, I think I'll know it enough. And I guess I got by in high school to, I didn't per se get by, not doing any work at all, but I like to procrastinate a lot, and I'm willing to admit that, yeah. The big one that everyone kind of talks about is schedule. You got to make your own schedule in college. In high school, you're, like I've said this multiple times, you're here from about 8 to 4-ish. Kind of the commitment is different between high school and college. It's not, you still have commitment in both places, but high school, especially with being involved, you have practices after school, you have, fundraisers, team meals, you're gone for a certain amount of classes. In college, I don't play a sport. There are people who play a sport in whatever college they're at, so I'm not going to speak for them. But for me, I just had to go to my classes, and that kind of responsibility of it, that whole practice thing, worrying about a whole extracurricular activity in that sense was kind of out the window. I guess just the difference of classes also, you have your math and your science here. And in college, studying sports media, I think 5 out of my 7 classes last semester were sports media classes, something to do with sports. The other ones were an art class, and I had a class about video games. So that was always fun. So just kind of be able to pick that as well. But there's a lot of similarities. It's school. You get into class, you learn. A lot of classes, you have tests, you have projects, you have stuff. The meeting new people thing is, when you first get into high school and you first get into college, it's a little different, a little bit of the same. In high school, you've grown up with these kids, you've known a lot of them since you were in kindergarten, first grade, a lot of them since, middle school, but also just kind of getting out there and meeting new people. That's kind of a similarity. So, you kind of, imagine that Venn diagram there. So, yeah. I'll start by saying college is a really big transition. I mean, it took me probably 2 months to kind of get into the feel of things. And, especially having a class at 8 a.m. and not having a class until 1 and then not having a class until 5. But I'm more motivated to do stuff during the day. Like, even in high school, I would find myself studying, like, even if there was a test in 4 days, not exactly cramming, sorry, I would find myself studying in class because that time I was zoned into school. Like 8 to 4 o'clock was like zoned into school. College was like, now having those breaks and still being zoned in, that helps a lot. I don't procrastinate as much. But also, like, it kind of forces you to not procrastinate because it's definitely a transition living by yourself and stuff, not having somebody, tell you to study all the time. My studying habits have definitely changed for the better. I would 100% say that. I actually enjoy studying now, kind of find that peace and quiet throughout my day. I kind of went a weird path with that. I knew that I wanted to do some sort of thing in sports probably since I was maybe between my sophomore and junior year, right around. I always just found, I wasn't always like athletically gifted. I wasn't, going to go play a sport anywhere in college, but I always found myself, looking at games. I'd watch film on high school games. I didn't play, but I was just having fun with it, figuring out stats of random stuff, the analytics and stuff. So I knew I wanted to do something with that. I was down between Wayne State College and Lincoln up until about probably 2 weeks before graduation. I was either going to study communications at Wayne and kind of play that into a sports field or sports media at UNL. And it was a tough decision, but I mean, I just kind of weighed my options and, no one ever wants to really admit it, but cost is obviously a huge thing in college. It's just how it works, especially when you're paying for college. But weighing my options, obviously Lincoln's going to be more expensive. I just figured the experiences there were going to be more than I got anywhere else, especially with that big of an institution, in the Big Ten, a lot of, even football, basketball, baseball games, there's going to be a lot of big corporations there. In hindsight, I've worked with, Fox Sports, Big Ten on football games. So just that experience, I kind of decided, I guess, about 2 weeks before graduation that I was going to go to Lincoln, yeah. So I'm in sports media club, broadcasting club, they're both kind of the same thing. They're intertwined because most of the sports media majors are broadcasting majors. I forgot to mention that I'm also double majoring in broadcasting, but that kind of doesn't start till the next couple years, the classes, so I kind of let that slip my mind. I'm going to work for Husker Vision next fall. And I work for our student run. Well, I guess work. I've done a couple games on the radio for our student run KRNU new radio sports games, I guess, for lack of better words. I want to get an entry-level job as a broadcaster somewhere out of college. I mean, I guess not necessarily a broadcaster because you think a broadcaster is, sitting in front of the camera talking about the game, whatever job I can get in that field, whether it's, behind the scenes, kind of just tying this into the experience. Like when I worked, like I said, I worked for Fox Sports and Big Ten, especially during the Iowa game. I was just holding cords for a camera, but that was really fun. I got paid a lot of money. So, I mean, that's, always a plus, but I want to, whether it's a PA announcer, radio announcer, television announcer, behind the scenes something, I want to get an entry level job in sports somewhere, preferably for a specific team. I couldn't tell you whether that's in the state of Nebraska or the surrounding area or outside, or a small network. I'm not, dreaming big right out of college. I'm dreaming big long term, but right out of college, I just want an entry level job somewhere in sports. Yeah. Some advice that I would give somebody that, like, I guess kind of wants, is scared for college or nervous about college, just keep going. I mean, it's always going to get better. You have your high highs and your low lows throughout high school, college, everywhere. Just keep pushing, keep working towards your goal because you never know where it's going to lead you. If you'd asked me, my sophomore year, before I decided I wanted to do sports, I would have said that I couldn't make it in, a sports field because I just didn't know enough. But, I mean, I didn't even, hit any, there's no real sports books you can study. I guess you can study stats, but that's not going to get you anywhere. Just kind of keeping with it. I've never lost my love for sports. I wasn't, like I said, the most athletic person ever, but I never lost my love for sports and just keep pushing. I mean, if you just keep pushing, you're going to eventually achieve your dreams, whether you think right now that you're gonna or not, you're gonna achieve your dreams. It's just, you just got to get over that hump, get over that, struggle, and just really, I guess, don't give up is what I mean. The whole thing kind of encompasses, and just no matter how hard it is, just keep going.